Well. Welcome, my friends and family. Just want to talk about a couple of things here on my mind and what's going on today in the world, especially in the sub-Sahara desert and the sub-Sahara countries. Why America and the West is so gung ho and removing Ibrahim Traor. Now, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger make up the Sahara states, the alliance of the Sahara states. There's not much to do about the leader of Mali or Niger, but the young leader, who is now 36 years old, of Burkina Faso. All eyes from the West is on him, and the West is determined to remove him. Why? Is it because he's a terrible leader? Is it because he's not improving the life of his people? Or is it because the idea and the works he is doing that has the West in uproar about him? Now, he took power when he was 34 years old. One of the things that you don't hear about in the regular media or even social media for that sense is how much his people loved him and how much support he's getting from his people. When he took over Burkina Faso, the GI, the the rebels who was running amok in the Sahara region and who had captured probably roughly 50% of Burkina Faso land space. Since he took over, he has recaptured probably another 10 to 20%. He's now in control of roughly 60, 65%, close to 70% of Burkina Faso land space. Thing that he did when he came to power, he made it clear to his people that he's not in this for himself. He said, no, I'm not doing this because of power or greed. I'm doing this because of my people. I want my people to not only survive, but prosper. He went to the people and he said, I need your help to develop Burkina Faso, to make Burkina Faso prosper and prosperous. I will set up, first of all, I'm going to show you that I'm not in it for myself. I will not take a presidential pay. I will keep my salary as a captain. That's the salary I was getting in the army. I'm going to keep that salary. One of the first thing he did, all the politicians, he cut their salary by 50%. No, 30%. The next thing he did, he increased the regular workers, civil servants, salary by 50%. He said to the people of Burkina Faso, I need your help. I need you to contribute to what he calls the patriotic fund to help to rebuild our country. The people was in agreement with him and they start contributing. Just this past quarter, last 3 months of 2025, the people contribute roughly $57 million to that fund. And that's not 57 million Burkina Faso money. It's 57 million US dollars they contribute to the fund. One of the things he's doing with the wealth in the country from the gold and the money that the country is making, he's invested right back into the country. He went out and bought tractors, roughly 200 tractors. He did what he did. He gave it to the farmers and said, we need you to cultivate our land. He built factories. He built 2 tomato factory plant to process tomato paste. He's building a gold refinery plant to process their own gold. The idea of him showing these people that we can do it. The West, America and the West is scared because if he opened black people's eyes and show us around the world what we can do by our own, we don't need the West to survive. So they're scared. If this idea take root in the Sahel region, which is the 3 countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria, pretty soon it would start spreading to neighboring countries, Togo, Ivory Coast, Chad, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, and the list goes on. That's what the West is afraid of. Because if Africans start to rise up and realize we don't need the West, we can survive on our own. We don't need them in our country. We have our own minerals. We have our own gold. We have everything we need to survive. The alliance of the Sahel region, they're creating their own money, backed by their own resource. Now, do you know what that would mean? And the strength of that money in the Sahel region backed by its own resources, own gold? Because Traor is creating a gold reserve, not on paper, but an actual gold reserve that's going to be in a bank, a gold reserve bank, where he's going to make gold blocks and store it. And then the money of those 3 countries will be backed by their gold and their resource. That's why the West is up in arms about Ibrahim Traor. Because they think if they get rid of him, then the other 2 countries, Mali and Niger, will fall in line and they'll be able to control them. But Ibrahim Traor, they got to get rid of him. Now, If he was doing such a bad job in his country, would his people contribute so much money to the Patriotic Fund? And I'm not talking about only government workers. I'm talking about the man in the street who's cleaning the street making a couple of dollars, the lady who's selling in the market. They all are contributing whatever they can to the fund. And they were able to $57 million US dollars in 3 months. So can you imagine when he stopped building the country? Because now he's building roads. He went out and bought equipment to build road. He said, I don't want to bring in any Western contractors. I want my own people to do it. He trained young men, women, how to build roads and how to operate equipment, and they're building it themselves. Can't imagine if that spread across Africa. The West would have no more power, or their power would diminish a whole lot. Just to give you some food for thought, the DRC, the Congo, is as it stands, it's the richest country on earth with its mineral, but yet it's a very poor country. The people are suffering. The West is creating havoc in the DRC and across the entire Africa. They're funding, the West is behind most of the fundings of these rebel groups. The West is the one providing them with all these equipment. They don't want a stable country. They don't want a stable continent. If there's a stable continent, the West will not be relevant anymore. All the African countries has enough resource and minerals to take care of all their people over the next million years or 2 million years. Africa is saying, all Africans around the world, you're Africans, you want to come home. We have enough space for you. You can come home. The West don't want that. Just to give you some food for thought again, think about it. There's roughly 30, maybe 40 million Americans here in the United States. What if 50% of that population get up and leave America? You know what happened? What would happen to American workforce? Think about it in Europe, in England, and the other European countries. If black people start to go home to Africa, remember, no, Traore say, if you are a black man, if you're an African, born in the West, Burkina Faso is your home. Come home. Peter Touch, the late great Peter Touch, Jamaican singer, said, it doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. That's part of the reason why the West is running scared. Ibrahim Traor is starting to wake up the sleeping line in a lot of us. He's opening up our eyes so we can see what's going on. You know, right, the Western world has a way of trying to conquer us, or have used a way to conquer us by using their own people. They did it with Patricia Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and the list goes on. They try to find a black man to betray these leaders. That's what they're looking for in Burkina Faso. But there's a waking up in Burkina Faso. They say no. Yet there's still some traitors there. And Ibrahim Traor is being able, little by little, to clean out the military of these traitors. Before I go, I just want to give you a little bit of background. This has been going on for the last 2 years, where the West is trying since Ibrahim Traor came into power. The U.S. military went to Chad, cut a deal with Chad to have a U.S. military base there. You know what kind of military base is there? The American Special Force. They did the same thing with the Ivory Coast. The U.S. military, the special forces down there. They've been planning these things to invade Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, mainly Burkina Faso. But the young youths of Africa is rising up and start to realizing that what they're doing. You know, I saw there's a demonstration was in Burkina Faso. A young man had a black card, and it says in French, Burkina Faso today, the world tomorrow, a united Africa tomorrow. The West is running scared. They don't want the youth and the young people to rise up. But before I go, I want to ask you guys, if you guys are still here listening and watching, please help me so my channel can spread out wider so more people can hear what's going on. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and for all means, share it with your friends and family and your group. I, myself, would love to go to Africa, to visit Africa. Never been there. Was born in Jamaica, grew up in America. Never been there. My dream is to go to Africa soon. Help me with this channel by sharing and subscribing. That my words and ideas that you can hear, other people can hear what's going on, and to support me. Again, thank you for your blessing. Thank you for listening, and thank you for following. Again, don't forget to subscribe and share and like this channel. Part 2 will be coming soon, where I'm going to dive deeper into some of the things that the U.S. military and the U.S. government is doing in West Africa, trying to overthrow Traore. Thank you, and peace out.